More than a cable. Why Airtel's 2Africa pearls landing rewires India's digital future. In a significant development for digital infrastructure in India, Bharti Airtel has landed the 2Africa pearls submarine cable, delivering 100 terabits per second of international network capacity for the country. This isn't just about capacity, said Sanchit Gogia, chief analyst and CEO at Greyhound Research. Yes, 100 Tbps is impressive on paper, but what matters more is what it enables. Indian enterprises have long been at the mercy of legacy undersea cables, low throughput, fragile routes, and indirect paths that added unnecessary latency. Gogia further emphasizes the broader implications, noting, what also stands out is the partnership behind this. Airtel working with Meta and Center 3 signals a broader shift. India is no longer just a consumer of global connectivity. We're finally shaping the routes, not just using them. Discussing the long-term economic implications, Gogia provides critical insight. If we're serious about India becoming a digital economy powerhouse, we need to stop thinking of connectivity as a utility and start treating it like national infrastructure. As quoted in networkworld.com. Additional comments by Greyhound Research Analyst. In March 2025, Bharti Airtel quietly but confidently marked a milestone that most headlines won't fully unpack. The landing of the 2Africa pearls subsea cable in Mumbai. On paper, this is about capacity, 100 terabits per second, connecting India directly to Africa and Europe via the Middle East. But let's be clear, this isn't just about bigger pipes. It's about flipping the map. At Greyhound Research, we see this for what it is, a strategic inflection point. One that sharpens Airtel's position on the global connectivity chessboard and deepens India's role in shaping, not just consuming, the infrastructure of the internet. This is where geopolitics meets gigabytes. This move isn't about adding more internet. It's about reclaiming influence, building resilience, and securing a future in which India isn't just plugged into someone else's network. It's designing its own. The end of Detours. Why route architecture matters. Let's talk about what's broken. For years, India's international network routes have been anything but efficient. Circuitous paths, legacy infrastructure, and choke points that turn performance into a gamble. The 2022 cable cut near Egypt, which knocked out nearly 17% of global traffic, made that fragility painfully obvious. With 2Africa pearls, we're cutting out the middlemen, literally. Airtel is bringing India a direct, high-capacity corridor to Europe and Africa. For enterprise IT teams managing global operations, this changes the calculus. Latency drops, resilience improves, and most importantly, India starts acting like a first-class node on the global internet, not an afterthought. At Greyhound Research, we've long argued that global competitiveness starts with infrastructure, and infrastructure starts with owning the routes. From hyperscaler dependency to infrastructure co-ownership. Now let's zoom out. Meta and Center 3, part of Saudi Telecom, are core investors in the 2Africa Pearl system. That's not a coincidence. We're in a phase where hyperscalers aren't just building apps. They're laying cables, launching satellites, and rewriting how global traffic flows. Airtel choosing to land this cable in India isn't a small decision. It's a shift in posture from connectivity reseller to infrastructure architect. From leasing space in someone else's system to owning a seat at the table. And for enterprise CIOs, this move matters because it changes the pricing dynamics, improves visibility into performance, and crucially, allows bundled services that integrate cloud, security, SD-WAN, and international bandwidth under one roof. What enterprises stand to gain? Performance, predictability, and power. This isn't abstract. Here's what this cable unlocks for Indian enterprises. BFSI, real-time risk models and cross-border settlements finally get the low latency support they need. Compliance with EU and African data regulations gets a boost. IT and BPM, delivery centers serving clients in Europe and Africa now get the stability they've long asked for. New markets become operationally viable. AI and cloud workloads, model training, inferencing, and orchestration across regions become possible without the usual network-induced heartburn. SaaS scale-ups. Indian firms looking to expand globally can now compete on performance, not just price. Back-end latency won't kill customer experience. Let's be clear, 100 Tbps doesn't land in your rack. But what it does land is options. In an enterprise architecture, optionality is power. A national playbook, not just a telco one. We love talking about India's $1 trillion digital economy target by 2030. But ambition without architecture is just marketing. India's historical role in global connectivity has been passive, plugging into systems designed elsewhere, routed through someone else's geopolitics. This landing flips that script. Airtel isn't just expanding its reach. It's helping India rewrite its position in the digital world order. At Greyhound Research, we believe digital sovereignty starts at the seabed, not the surface. If you don't shape the pipe, you don't control the flow. This isn't just Airtel's moment. It's a call for other Indian players, public and private, to think long-term about infrastructure, not just applications. A note of caution: capacity alone won't cut it. Of course, let's not lose the plot. One subsea cable doesn't solve everything. Last-mile infrastructure remains sketchy. India's data centers need serious ESG alignment and power redundancy. And connectivity for mid-market and rural enterprises is still more complexity than capability. Also, what Airtel does next with this cable matters deeply. Will enterprises get differentiated SLAs for latency-sensitive apps? Will this capacity integrate cleanly with cloud exchanges and edge nodes? Execution will separate vision from vapor. Final word: readiness is the new ambition. At Greyhound Research, we've said it before and we'll say it again: digital ambition without hard infrastructure is fantasy. With the landing of 2Africa Pearls, Airtel hasn't just increased capacity, it's raised expectations. This is Airtel staking a claim not just in the internet economy, but in how that economy is routed, governed, and grown. For CIOs, this is more than a network update. It's a new backbone for global business. For India, it's a moment of transition, from plugged in to plugged in with purpose. CIO Playbook, turning cable capacity into competitive advantage. At Greyhound Research, we believe this is not the time for CIOs to be passive consumers of connectivity. This is the moment to take ownership, to translate infrastructure into strategy and capacity into competitive advantage. The pipes are here. The question is, will you build on them? Here's a ready playbook that you can consider for your enterprise. 1. Reevaluate your global network strategy. Stop relying on decade-old routes. Ask your network team how traffic flows to Europe and Africa today, and where it could be optimized tomorrow. 2. Rethink cloud and data placement. Don't default to local out of fear. With better international routes, you can now architect for business value, not bottlenecks. 3. Get serious about AI-ready infrastructure. Whether you're building in-house models or using third-party APIs, AI needs fast, stable, multi-region connectivity. Use this as a trigger to audit readiness. 4. Push for smart SLAs. Don't just buy bandwidth, demand transparency. Look for performance tiers, latency guarantees, and alignment with cloud interconnects. 5. Educate the board. Translate all of this into boardroom language. This isn't a telco story. It's about competitive edge, faster time to market, and better risk mitigation. Make it real for them. Let's stop thinking of subsea cables as infrastructure stories. This is about power. Who has it, who controls it, and who benefits from it. And right now, Airtel's made sure India has a stronger hand at the table. Analyst in focus: Sanchit Gogia. Sanchit Gogia, or SVG as he is popularly known, is a globally recognized technology analyst, innovation strategist, digital consultant, and board advisor. SVG is the chief analyst, founder and CEO of Greyhound Research, a global, award-winning technology research, advisory, consulting, and education firm. Greyhound Research works closely with global organizations, their CXOs, and the board of directors on technology and digital transformation decisions. SVG is also the founder and CEO of the House of Greyhound, an eclectic venture focusing on interdisciplinary innovation. Copyright policy. All content contained on the Greyhound Research website is protected by copyright law and may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, displayed, published, or broadcast without the prior written permission of Greyhound Research or, in the case of third-party materials, the prior written consent of the copyright owner of that content. You may not alter, delete, obscure, or conceal any trademark, copyright, or other notice appearing in any Greyhound Research content. We request our readers not to copy Greyhound Research content and not republish or redistribute them, in whole or partially, via emails or republishing them in any media, including websites, newsletters, or intranets. We understand that you may want to share this content with others, so we've added tools under each content piece that allow you to share the content. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our community relations team at connect@thoffer.com.